back for our daily college basketball best bets here on Wednesday, November 26th. Yesterday, an alright day, could have been better. I mean, the Utah Utes are the worst college basketball team I've ever seen. I didn't think it could get that bad. Scoring, 40 points in a basketball game is absurd. I think they got it up to like 50-something at the end of the game, but Utah sucks. More on them later. Notre Dame didn't cover by like a point. It is what it is. Shout out to the Volunteers, played a tremendous game yesterday, and yet they still don't find themselves in the Players Era Championship game. They won both their games. They beat the number 3 team in the country, and they're going to find themselves in a third place game against Kansas. Obviously, the Players Era tournament is flawed, and that's ridiculous. I don't know what else to say. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Regardless, we do have the championship now being between Michigan and Gonzaga. Again, it just feels weird because Tennessee, looks like they're the best team in the tournament. Whatever. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to go over some other games as well. Folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. Later today, we're going to have our NBA best bets up. Also on the channel this week, our college football predictions. You're not going to want to miss that. That was posted the other day. Over 4.5 hours of week number 14 college football picks. And also, our NFL predictions will be out later today. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets. We're going to do a little bit more mid-major action today. Shout out to Portland State yesterday cashing. I don't know how they won. Well, I watched the game, but I don't understand how they did it. That team needs to stop talking every single time they hit a 3, because Portland State will shoot a 3, they'll hit it, and they'll get right in their opponent's face. How many technicals will Portland State be hit with this season? I don't know, but good on them for beating Utah Tech. A come-from-behind victory late. They went cold for like 4 minutes and still found a way to win at the end of the game. Anyways, more mid-major action. We were successful yesterday with it. Let's go here. Starting things off with UIC on the road in, oh goodness, Pennsylvania. Don't know the name of the town in Pennsylvania. Moon Township. There we go. Moon Township, Pennsylvania, to take on the Robert Morris Colonials. I'm going UIC on the road. UIC's better than Robert Morris. I don't care that it's a road game for them. It doesn't matter to me. I'm taking UIC. Not the furthest trip from Illinois to Pennsylvania. Obviously, it's a little bit of a, an adventure. But regardless, I am not trusting a Horizon League team and a mid-Horizon League team at that to beat UIC out of the Missouri Valley. I know what you can say. Oh, well, we've already seen that. Robert Morris beat Drake. Okay, something's wrong with Drake. Yeah, they're 4-2. Okay, that's not the same Drake team we've seen over the last 4 seasons. They don't really have good victories. They're 4-2, but it's a padded 4-2. They lost to SIUE this season at home. So I don't really give a damn that Robert Morris beat Drake. I think UIC goes in there, or, Illinois, Chicago, however you want to call them. I think the Flames go in there and beat Robert Morris. UIC is a 4-2 team this season. Losses at home, or I think it was a tournament game, was it not, against High Point? Yeah, the Boardwalk Battle against High Point, and then a loss on the road in Corvallis against Oregon State. Now, again, the Beavs have gone to crap, but beginning of the season, Oregon State wasn't playing that poorly. They're now losing to UMass. So, I don't know what to say about them, okay? They're going to play Cal Baptist later in the week in Corvallis, and they should lose that game. That's how bad the Beavs are. Anyways, they're bad at basketball, bad at football. I don't know what's going on with that program, that school in general. Anyways, well, I know what's happening. They can't get anybody to commit there because they don't have a future in where they're, we'd be in the Pac-8? Anyways, give me UIC to beat Robert Morris. The Flames, again, are 4-2 this year. The victories, Detroit Mercy, Chicago State, Southern Indiana. Okay, those aren't going to blow your socks off. I understand. They went to Chicago, only won a game by 4 points. They beat up Detroit Mercy and beat up on South Indiana. I get it. Those are not huge victories. But look at Robert Morris, man. Other than the Drake win, they don't have a win over a Division I program. They beat Drake on the road, which I will give you that. That is a great victory. But again, the Bulldogs are nothing like they've been the last couple of seasons. Look at their other games. You get blown out at Iowa, obviously expected. You go to St. Bonaventure, you get blown out, and you play Monmouth, the team that, I think Robert Morris is expected to beat. I'll say that. Robert Morris was underdogs in that game? Really? That's surprising. I guess. Really? Because Monmouth is not a strong team in the CAA this season. Anyways, they go to Monmouth and lose. I'm not wowed by that. Again, I didn't know the odds for that game. To me, I would expect Robert Morris to win that game on the road. They didn't, though. So this is a Robert Morris team that's coming off back-to-back L's. Their only victories are against Division II programs and Drake, beating Geneva and then Pittsburgh Greensburg. What? It's a 3-3 squad at the Horizon League. The Colonials are led by Nicholas Chikadouas. Yeah, I butchered that. He's from Greece, averages 14.5 points per game. He was a starter last year at North Carolina A&T. He's been the best guy for the Colonials so far this season, but they've seen Deshaun good. He's been big. He's been good recently. The sophomore at Fairmont, West Virginia, averaging 11 points per game, dropped 17 in 37 minutes against Monmouth. This is an IU Indy guy. And then Josh Hill is their other somewhat leading scorer. Hill did not play their last game against Monmouth. I'm not sure if he's playing tonight, but this is their primary big, 6'11" underneath the hoop. Doesn't start, but comes off the bench and plays big minutes. Will play 20-ish, 25-ish minutes per game. Was at Arkansas State last season, now at RMU. I don't know if he's going to play or not. And again, he did not play their last game against Monmouth, a game in which they went to OT and lost. As for the UIC Flames, it's a team led by 2 scorers. That's going to be Ahmad Henderson II and Andy Johnson, both of which are guards. Henderson averages 17 points per game. He's 5'10". So we're taking like the Manhattan Jaspers approach to this one. I mean, that's fine. Ahmad Henderson started his career at Niagara and then went to last year UIC, averaged 12 points per game. Now you're seeing an uptick in both minutes and production, averaging 17 a night. And then there's their freshman, really operates as their 3 from what I've seen, but, technically a shooting guard, I would think in other programs, but operates as their, 3, or operates as their 3 on this squad. Averages 14 points per game. Andy Johnson, 6'6", freshman out of Union, Kentucky. Again, he's been good so far in his collegiate career. Both him and Henderson, again, are dropping double digits per night for this UIC Flames team. Mekhi Lowry, as well, as averaging 9.5. This is a junior who last year played at Townsend. That was a loaded Townsend team last season, don't get me wrong. Came up short in their conference tournament, but anyways, that team was really good. Mekhi Lowry comes from that program. He's now starting at UIC. I like what the Flames got. I don't care they're on the road at all. I'm not expecting a big crowd at Robert Morris on the day before Thanksgiving. Really not. It's the day before Thanksgiving in Moon Township, Pennsylvania. Now, what do you do in Moon Township, Pennsylvania? I don't know. Sounds like a cool place. Never been. I'm taking UIC on the road. Everything points to them being the better team. Robert Morris, yes, they pulled off an upset victory at Drake. Look at their other games. They're not impressive, and they beat up on D2 schools the rest of the way. I'm going UIC to get this one done on the road. The Flames are slight favorites in this game, and we're going to go with that. Minus 115 for the UIC Flames to beat Robert Morris on the road in Moon Township. On now to our second best bet of the video. We will get to the Players Era Festival in a little bit, but I will say this right now. I'm recording this video at 1:30. Now, normally I don't like to record these this late. I've been waiting for the odds to update. I've been waiting to get any odds on any of these games, and that includes that includes Maui, and that also includes the Players Era. That's the main one I'm looking at, obviously. There is Battle of Atlantis today. There is nothing I like on Battle of Atlantis. I'll say that now. Like, Vandy's playing WKU. You've got, who's playing? VCU's playing South Florida, I think it is. There's nothing I like from that. And again, Maui Invitationals tomorrow. There's no odds yet for that. So, and there's no odds also for Players Era except for the championship game. So I'll get to that later. Just weird. I don't know how to bet on this stuff right now. Again, I waited for the odds, and they're still not out. Obviously, when you're seeing this video, there are going to be odds out. And I will say this real quick, okay? I would take Tennessee. I don't know what their value is going to be, but I don't have the odds for Tennessee, Kansas. So what am I going to do there? I like Seton Hall to probably beat Washington State, but if Wazoo's like a plus 9.5 point dog, which I don't think they're going to be, I would take plus 9.5 on them. And then also, South Dakota State's playing UCI. Both those teams, those are my mid-major squads. They've both been disappointing this season. I will say this, 100% go with UC Irvine in that game. Don't have the odds for that one, though, okay? And you know how much I like the Jacks? What the hell were they doing last night against Utah Valley? Oh, Utah Valley's not bad this season, sure. South Dakota State, man, I don't know what to say about that team. Maybe they're just going to be better in Brookings this year, but they almost lost to a Division III school earlier this season, so I don't know what to expect out of them. Anyways, got that off my chest. That's why there is a big mid-major presence today. Again, we will have the championship game, obviously, like you saw in the thumbnail, but I have no St. John's and Auburn. We shall see. Again. Anyways, let's go to this one. Sam Houston taking on Idaho State. This is a tournament game. Let me get the exact name of this tournament because this game is not in Texas. Regardless, though, it's in Boise, but it's not at Idaho State's campus, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we're at the Holiday Hoops Classic in Boise, Idaho. I don't know where Idaho State is. I will just be completely honest with you. I mean, I know it's in Idaho. I believe it's... I'm not even going to try to take a guess. I don't care where it is in relation to Boise. Doesn't really matter to me, okay? It's technically a neutral site. Obviously, there's going to be more people from Idaho at this game. But honestly, is that always the case? Because like UNLV, when UNLV played Maryland the other night in Vegas, there were no UNLV people there. And I understand, again, UNLV doesn't really have fans. They don't travel that well. But it was, Maryland, all the Maryland parents, and I assume the boosters came. So I'm not really too concerned about home court advantage for a spot like this where, okay, well, it's in the same state for Idaho State. But, I mean, if you have parents and relatives and people from Sam Houston, they're going to go to Boise for this. They're going there for Thanksgiving. So anyways, we are at the Holiday Hoops Classic in Boise, Idaho, and I'm taking Sam Houston to win. This is a no-brainer to me, and I think Sam Houston also is going to cover the 2.5 points as well. We're taking the Bearcats out of the CUSA. I understand they've only won one Division I basketball game this season. But if you beat Wyoming, a team out of the Mountain West, and I get it, the Mountain West has been somewhat disappointing this season, but Wyoming's a 5-1 team. They beat Fullerton, they beat Austin Peay, they beat Portland, they beat Norfolk State. Their one loss is Sam Houston. I'm perfectly fine rolling with the Bearcats here. That's all I need to see. They went to Tech, lost, went to Utah, played a tough game. Now, there's going to be more on Utah at the end of the video. Also, I don't have the Akaskir Classic games right now, but I found a get around for our last best bet, so hold on for that one. But I mean, I don't know what, I don't think Utah's that good. I don't care though. Sam Houston went there and played a competitive game. Now, I don't know how Utah ever scores 85 points watching last night's game, but that's neither here or there. Again, Sam Houston coming off back-to-back victories, beating Wyoming and then beating Division II Shriner. Okay. But now they're taking on Idaho State. They already have their next game scheduled in the Holiday Hoops Classic. They're going to be playing the Idaho Vandals on Friday, so it's a predetermined tournament. Regardless, though, the Bearcats are a team that's an all-around scoring effort. You have a bunch of guys who average 10 points a night, which means anybody can explode, and there's not one single star player on this team. Legitimately, there's not. Watching this team play, I'll be honest with you, I have not watched every Sam Houston game from front to end. If you have, shout out to you. But from what I have seen, again, there's not one direct guy you're looking at and say, okay, this guy's, head and shoulders better than the others. It's just an all-around team effort. It's a do-your-job mindset at Sam Houston, and they win basketball games, okay? They're taking on Idaho State coming out of the Big Sky. This is a team that has one victory all year long, and that was at USD, University of San Diego. Now, here's the thing. I get it. Sam Houston's only won one Division I game. Beating Wyoming is levels better than beating San Diego. Okay. Idaho State played some competitive games against some good mid-majors. I'm talking Seattle. I'm talking Santa Clara. Only lost to Santa Clara by 9 points. Lost to Seattle U by 9 as well. They went to San Diego State, lost by 16 points. But a 3-point win over USD doesn't move me. San Diego's really bad. They were so bad last season, and I get it. Every year's different, transfer portal. I don't care. USD was so bad last year, I banned them after the first game of the season. I watched one USD game last year. I was like, I'm never watching them ever again. And they're still not that good. I think they're a little improved this season because they were horrible last year. But I mean, just because you beat the Idaho Vandals doesn't mean you're good. Okay. Anyways, Idaho State 3-3. Their wins are San Diego, and lock in for these, Park University Gilbert and Justice College. What? Two leading scorers are Caleb Van Den Grind and Connor Hollenbeck. Van Den Grind is a senior, has not played at the Division I level until this year, averaging 16 points per game. And then Hollenbeck is a senior from South Dakota, played every single game and started every single game last year for the Bengals. He's starting yet again. Yeah, I like Sam Houston. There's too many guys on Sam Houston for Idaho State to account for. The Bengals are very dependent on just a couple guys. And I think Sam Houston's the better team rolling into this basketball game. Give me Sam Houston minus 2.5. This really seems like a no-brainer to me. On to our next one, and we move to a matchup between Fresno State and Pepperdine. I know we've featured Fresno quite a bit on the channel, but hear me out. Fresno State, they've always been, they've always gotten beat up in the Mountain West in basketball, and they probably will as we get on to Mountain West play later in the year. But for now, hey, look at the Bulldogs. Fresno State somehow found themselves at 5-2 to the point where, I'll say this, I was at the Fresno State football game last weekend when they were playing Utah State and blew a huge lead to Bryson Barnes and the Aggies. Regardless of all that, Fresno State football's you got to a point where it's so bad this year, they're still going to go to like the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. But anyways, you have people in the crowd saying, well, I guess the basketball team's not that bad this season, which is crazy because that's never said at Fresno State. This is a football school that had David Carr, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. Aaron Judge played baseball there. Jake Hayner, Mikey Keene. There's always been great football players there, great talent over there, and you got people talking about their basketball team now on campus. Now, they're not as good as, the student section I was overhearing the other day at Fresno State. However, they are a 5-2 bunch. We have picked against them before, I understand. We've had our spots where we have picked them too. Losses are to SC Upstate, which we've watched them play this year. Ooh, man. And their other loss is to UC San Diego. However, the win over Utah Valley is aging extremely well. Utah Valley's 4-2, and they have now handled my two hype-up teams in the mid-major level in UC Irvine and South Dakota State. If you watch the channel, you know, again, I hype up UCI and SDSU every single day. And Utah Valley went into that tournament they're playing in Cabo, I think it is, or Cancun, wherever in Mexico, and they bitched both of them in back-to-back games. So I'm going to put some respect on Utah Valley's name right now, but Fresno won that game against them, albeit a competitive one. We had Fresno State money line in that game, and it cashed. It was a 1-point victory for the Bulldogs, but I think Fresno's playing low-key. Again, they're playing decent basketball this year. You look at a guy who's impressed me every time I watch them is Jack Manny. I know Manny's stats might not be the best. 9 points a game, 3 rebounds a game. That dude makes an impact on the court. And then Jake Heidebreder is their best player in terms of scoring-wise. He's a 3-point shooter. Started at Air Force, transferred to Clemson. Now he's at Fresno State. He's averaging 19 points per game. He's listed at 6'5". I will tell you this, watching Fresno State, he does not appear like he's actually 6'5" tall. I believe Zayon Collins is the all-around better basketball player. I'll say that. He's their one guard. He's their point guard, initiates the offense. It's a guy who plays much bigger than being a 6'1" point. Had 10 rebounds in their last game against the New Orleans Privateers and 7 assists with 14 points. In the Utah Valley game, Collins had 27. This is a very effective scorer and the all-around best player on Fresno State. Again, Heidebreder and Manny are going to contribute as well. To me, though, watching and just passing the eye test, Zayon Collins is their best on-ball defender. He's their best scorer. He's their best playmaker, and he's probably their best rebounder. That's going to sound crazy for a guy that's 6 foot 1 inch tall. He's probably their best rebounder. I'm not joking about that. He's second on the team in rebounds. He's an athletic freak. This is going to, I don't know, depending on what version of you think in your head of Russell Westbrook, that's Zayon Collins, though. Like, legitimately, a collegiate version of Russ. That's what I will say about Zayon Collins. Only a junior too. If he wants to play somewhere else, because he started at Fresno last year, he's taking that leap this year. Zayon Collins is going to get a call to the SEC or the Big Ten or the Big 12 next year, or the Big East if he so chooses so. Trust me. Or if he's smart, he will either stay at Fresno or go to a better Mountain West school, like in, I don't know, he'll go to a Utah State or a Boise State, and he'll be the guy there and maybe get a shot in the G League or undrafted as well coming out. Again, he's just a little undersized, so I don't know about the NBA. But anyway, Zayon Collins is a real good basketball player. Fresno State's much better than the Pepperdine Waves. Just straight up. Fresno State is a favorite in this game. They're minus 135. This should be automatic. You look at what Pepperdine has done this season. These two teams share a common opponent. I don't think it really matters too much because it's Stephen F. Austin, and the Bulldogs only beat them by 2 points, and Pepperdine lost by 3. But it is telling, right? Stephen F. Austin did their little California trip, and they played Fresno and Pepperdine, on back-to-back nights. Not back-to-back nights, but back-to-back games. I think they went to the Valley first, right? Yeah, they went to Fresno first, and they went out to the coast to finish off over at Pepperdine in Malibu. And if Fresno gets them, Pepperdine doesn't. It's a Pepperdine team that is still struggling to really make up for the loss last season or going into the season of Maurice Odom. Obviously, if you've watched Arizona State basketball and if you've watched Maui, Maurice Odom has his hands all over that tournament right now. If Arizona State somehow pulls out a victory today against Seton Hall, Maurice Odom will be the MVP of that tournament. I'd argue maybe he should be the MVP regardless of what happens in the Seton Hall game. Big game-winning 3 he hit against Texas, massive. He was good in the Wazoo game as well. Maurice Odom's having a crazy year this year for Arizona State, and he came from Pepperdine last year. Really got to see him a lot in that West Coast tournament. Pulled off 2 upset wins against both Oregon State and against Santa Clara as well. Odom's legit. Pepperdine did lose Stefan Todorovic, who was absolutely massive for them as well last season. So now, again, they're just trying to recuperate. That's not English. They're looking to really get back to what they were last season. I did not get the, tricky English word I was thinking of there. But regardless, they're trying to get back at their heights of last season. And I hype up Todorovic. I hype up Odom. They were a below 500 team last year in the West Coast, but they really showed up when they needed it, and they had talent. Now, Aaron Clark, I guess, is going to be your closest thing to a premier scorer and a primary scorer and a Maurice Odom, averaging 16 points per game. This is a player last year that was at Wake Forest and never got run. Now he's at Pepperdine, and he's a sophomore. He's averaging 16 points per game. Pepperdine plays quick, I understand. I really don't care, though. I think Fresno gets them. Look at Pepperdine's results. They can play fast, but then look at what happens when they play Stephen F. Austin. They score 60 points. Played Northern Colorado at home, lost by 7. They beat the Privateers of New Orleans. Don't really care. They beat them by 11 points. Fresno beat them by 9. They went to UCLA and lost by 11 points. Kind of kicking myself for not taking Cal spread yesterday. I thought about it, but it didn't make the video. And obviously, UCLA played Cal at the Chase Center yesterday and lost by 8 points in the, something Empire Classic. I think it's just the Empire Classic. So I don't really put too much into Pepperdine keeping close against UCLA. Everyone keeps it close against UCLA, it seems. I think Fresno's the way better squad, honestly. There's way more talent on Fresno State, and they should be able to take Pepperdine here, especially with no Maurice Odom, no Todorovic anymore. Give me the Bulldogs minus 135. Am I sold on, Fresno State's a basketball school this year? Absolutely not, okay? I think they're good right now. They are going to get outworked and outmatched from the Mountain West, but I do believe now going to the Save Mart Center is not going to be a walk in the park like it's been the last couple seasons. So watch out for Fresno here. I'm not confident that they're going to make any waves. No pun intended because of Pepperdine, but I think Fresno will win this game against Pepperdine minus 135 on the money line. On now to our fourth best bet of the video, we go to the Players Era Festival Championship game. I do have odds for this one. Currently at 1:30 in the morning, there are no odds for any other game in this tournament, but I do have it for this, so I'm taking Gonzaga. I understand Michigan's really good. And I've been saying Michigan's really good all year long. If you watched last year on the channel, and if you've watched this year too, you know I really like Adai Mara. I think Mara is going to be a very difficult player for teams to really figure out in the NBA. This is a 7'3" center who I believe is 7'4", probably 7'5", but I think they're kind of undercutting him a little bit. Just watch him play and look how big he is. I feel like he's 7'5", and maybe he's not. Adai Mara is a freak. Teams have in this tournament, though, kind of taken him away. And he's not getting as much run anymore for Michigan. But I just wanted to say, like, I have been big on Adai Mara for a little bit. Regardless, though, Yaxel Lendenberg, is the best player on the Wolverines. Obviously, coming from UAB last season. Had to make that transfer, obviously. Was not going to cut it over there. Playing in... or at the mid-major level for Alabama Birmingham. He's been great this season. Lendenberg, picking up right where he left off last season. He's averaging 15 points per game. I'm not going to deny that Michigan's a really good team. Obviously, these are the two top teams in the Players Festival tournament. Again, I did not pick Tennessee yesterday, but I watched the entire game and the way that they shut down Houston in the second half defensively. I don't know how you can tell me that's not a top 2 team in this thing, but they didn't win on points. The point system didn't favor them, so they didn't get in. Ridiculous? 100,000%. Why? I went over yesterday. It doesn't make sense. I didn't get why did Houston draw, or why did Tennessee draw Houston? Why did, a team that won the other day get to play a team that lost? It made zero sense. There was no formatting here. What they should have done, but the thing is, you can't get teams to sign up for 4 games here. That's what you should do, but obviously you can only play 3. I don't know. They just invited too many teams. That's what they did. They invited way too many teams to come out here to Vegas and play. But, cha-ching, someone's walking away with money today. I think it's going to be Zaga. Michigan's good. Gonzaga's better. Compare results so far in this tournament. They've both been beating up teams, I understand. Michigan gets the easiest matchup in the tournament, and that was not UC San Diego, it was San Diego State. I get it, SDSU beat Oregon, but Oregon sucks too, in all fairness, so whatever. Michigan got Auburn yesterday, and they dominated Auburn. Great victory, okay? Again, Auburn's win is Oregon, which we picked, but go to Michigan. That's what you need to do against a top 25 team like Auburn. I will give them credit there. Again, I don't put much into the SDSU win. Prior to the tournament, they went to Texas Christian and played a competitive game, but got out of it. I think Zaga's going to beat him. Gonzaga has ran through every single team that they played this year, struggled some in the first half against Alabama, but really came on late in the second half and ultimately beat Bama by 10 points. And what they do yesterday against Maryland, obviously, clinches their spot in the tournament championship, again, over the Volunteers. But they beat Maryland by 39 points in a game in which points matter and point differential mattered. Gonzaga went in there and did absolutely what they needed to do. Again, beating Bama in the first game, then beating Maryland. And this is a more than proven team against big schools so far in the country. Beat Oklahoma, beat Creighton. They went to ASU, beat them as well. Zaga always schedules the toughest possible non-con schedule, obviously, because they're not in a Power 4 conference, and their second half of the season consists of them beating up on West Coast teams and having competitive games against St. Mary's and losing in Moraga, California. But obviously, Zaga's really good, and that's what they do. They go out and schedule the hardest possible games. This is the reason they go to tournaments like this. They still have UCLA later. They're going to go to Kentucky later in the year as well. Actually, that's their next game. Wow, it is. They're going to play Oregon later in the year. That's just what Zaga does. They're so loaded. They are. And yes, Michigan's got guys. I'm not going to deny who Michigan has. Again, Yaxel Lindenberg's been absolutely massive this season. You look at an Adai Mara, who's been, I think still a very big player, obviously. Merez Johnson is the big now on this team, I guess. Elliot Cadeau, I kind of expected more out of this year. I'm not going to lie. Only averaging 8 points per game. Only played 13 minutes in the Auburn game. I thought he was going to be a bigger factor. He started every game at North Carolina last year. He's kind of been a non-factor for the Wolverines, can I say? Whatever. I guess Trey Donaldson leaves. You think Cadeau's your guy. He's really not. Whatever. Zaga's more loaded. Let's say that. The guys Gonzaga has, it's absurd. I mean, you've got two of the better forwards in all college basketball, big men in college basketball, in Braden Huff and Graham Ike. You have to deal with those guys up front. And then, okay, they add Tylen Grant Foster, who I know, again, some nights has his nights, some nights, whatever. He's only averaging 12 points per game, put up 21 in the Bama game. Tylen Grant Foster's more than capable. He's a guy that's been around college basketball for quite a bit. I'm not going to harp on, he's played 6 years. He gets a pass, and if you don't know, again, just look up Tylen Grant Foster's, I guess, medical history. I'm not going to, complain that Tylen Grant Foster got an extra year. I think he deserved another year, so good on him. This is a player that was great at Grand Canyon. I thought he was going to go to the draft last year. Surprised that he went to Zaga, and now, okay, he's going to try to help Zaga win a national championship this season. Gonzaga, in my opinion, is top 5 in all of college basketball. Again, I think the top team in the sport right now, it has to be the Purdue Boilermakers, and obviously after the Houston loss, again, there's a lot of great teams right now. How about the Hoosiers? They're still undefeated. I understand they haven't played anybody all that great yet, but you know what I mean, right? Zaga beats up on Bama. They beat Maryland, and again, the lineup that they have, man. I mean, just really, Grant Foster, Ike, Huff. Oh my goodness. Adam Miller hasn't been bad either. Adam Miller does what they need him to do. I like this team, man. I really like Gonzaga, and I'm surprised they're plus money. I'm so surprised. You look at the bigs for Michigan, obviously. Okay, again, Adai Mara, Merez Johnson, Yaxel Lindenberg. Okay, deal with Ike and Huff. I got to go Gonzaga, guys. I got to go with the Zags, right? I got to go with the Gonzaga Bulldogs here. I like St. Mary's a lot, and we'll get to that discussion later. I know St. Mary's hasn't been as good as I thought they'd be going into the season. We'll see again. I think Mikey Lewis is very good, so we'll talk about him. We've already talked about Mikey Lewis a little bit, but regardless, we'll get more on Zaga later in the year. I think Zaga is going to give, St. Mary's, is going to give Zaga fits. But for now, yeah, I'm all over Gonzaga in this spot. I think they're going to beat Michigan, absolutely. They're the better basketball team. You can make the case they are the best team in the sport. I do believe it's the Boilermakers, and that's coming from an Indiana guy. But yeah, I'm easily going with the Bulldogs here. Give me Gonzaga to win the Players Era Festival, plus 100. Now, our final best bet of the video, I don't have odds. I will refresh one more time on my screen to maybe see if, again, I'm getting odds at 2 o'clock in the morning now. And let's see. Why is this taking so long to refresh? Nope, I still don't have odds for this game. So we're just going to have to guesstimate. Okay, here. Take Ole Miss. I don't care what the line is. I don't care if it's 5.5, 6.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10.5. Take Ole Miss here. Just trust me on this one. Take Ole Miss. I don't think Grand Canyon's that good. They're not. I'll say that the Grand Canyon's not that good. I love Brian Moore from Norfolk State. He was great last year in the MEAC. The way Utah played last night, it disgusted me. I wanted to throw up watching Utah play basketball last night. Guys, Utah lost to GCU yesterday, and Grand Canyon did not hit a single three. They went 0 for 15 or 0 for 10 from beyond the arc. Utah still lost. And we just need them to cover 4.5. Oh my goodness. That was the most disgusting effort of basketball I've watched. The sloppiest game of basketball I've ever watched. And I watched Maryland play a couple nights ago and they won, but still. No. We are Utah, guys. This team is finishing dead last in the Big 12 this season. I'm serious about that. I'm so serious. Oh, what about TCU? They lost to New Orleans. I don't care. No. This is the worst team right now in the Big 12. Utah goes to Cal on December 2nd. They're losing that game too. They're going to lose at Haas, 100%. This team's atrocious. Yesterday I spent so much time hyping up Terrence Brown. What did Terrence Brown do last night? 9 points? This team turns the ball over. They're sloppy. They're afraid to shoot wide open threes, and they don't hit free throws. Again, the team they played hit 0 threes, and they lost. What do you want me to say about the Utes? Sure, or they're playing at midnight, Ole Miss time. I understand, and I don't even think we've even spoken about the Rebels this year. I don't care. This is an Ole Miss domination, okay? And Ole Miss has got guys. They're again. I haven't talked about the Rebels yet this year. I've been paying attention from afar, I guess, on Ole Miss. They lost to Iowa. Was it yesterday? Yeah, they lost to Iowa. They're a weird team. I think Malik Dia is really good. When he wants to be. That's a very talented guy who's in his, I think, senior year now, right? Yeah. He's shown, glimpses of excellence. AJ Storr's on this team. AJ Storr is a confusing collegiate story, I watched AJ Storr play in Bloomington. He obviously did not go to Indiana, but he went to Wisconsin, and I saw him cook the Hoosiers at Assembly Hall, and then I was surprised he went to Kansas. But that's just what guys do, they want to be, part of the championship team. And I guess AJ Storr thought he was going to play big minutes for the Jayhawks. He played 15 minutes a night, was a bench guy, averaged 6 points per game. Obviously, he could not end his career at Kansas, so then he went to Ole Miss. Perfect move. But this guy has gone from big program to big program to big program. Started at St. John's, then went to Wisconsin, then to Kansas, now to Mississippi. It makes sense. He's been an effective player this season when he has actually been given the keys to the offense and to take everything over. So far, again, he's been good. Storr's averaging 16 points per game. Elias Carmandine is averaging 15 points per game. This is a senior out of France, first year of Division I college basketball. He's been good, plays pretty much the entire game. Again, Storr is their most effective scorer, and then there's Malik Dia. Malik Dia is good, okay? This is a 12 points per game scorer for them so far this year. Again, last year, Dia was really solid as well for Ole Miss. Started every single game at the center position. This is the guy who started at Vanderbilt, went down to the mid-major level, played at Belmont, averaged 17 points per game over there, and came to Ole Miss last season in the SEC and played fairly well. I'd expect Dia to be a massive factor in this game too. Oh, by the way, Utah has no interior defense. Again, did I mention that Grand Canyon did not hit a single three yesterday and still won the game by 10 points? Exactly. If I had a dime for every single time Utah gave up a wide open dunk, I'd probably have enough for a McChicken, and McChickens aren't cheap anymore, right? So I like the Rebels here. I really like the Rebels. I don't know what the line is, which sucks. Again, I don't know why. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the East Coast, and there aren't lines anymore. Or not anymore, but there aren't lines yet. Can someone explain to me that? I don't know. But regardless of all that, I will take Ole Miss. I will take the Rebels. I don't know what the line is, but go on your phone right now and look up the line for this game. Take Ole Miss. Unless it's like 20.5 points. If it is, just stay away. But unless this gets into the legitimately, unless it's 15.5 or more, I'd consider taking them 15.5. Maybe. And if it's under 15.5, take it. I think it's going to be, if I had to guess, probably 7.5, 8.5. That's money to me. Give me Ole Miss. Utah sucks. I don't know how this team scored 80 points in their first couple of games. They're not going to get over 50 here. They won't get over 60, I'll say that. Give me the Rebels to cover. They've actually got scores. And what happens when they shoot threes? I'm just saying. What happens when Ole Miss decides, let's hit one outside of the perimeter? Yeah, this is trouble for the Utes. Give me Ole Miss to cover. Folks, thank you all for watching our college basketball best bets here on Thanksgiving Eve, Wednesday, November 26th. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do this great thing in the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily college basketball best bets on Thanksgiving Day itself. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.